Well, the courthouse clock says 6 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and call this August meeting of the Blount County Board of Zoning Appeals to order. Roger, if you'll call the roll.
Andy Allen.
Here.
Larry Chesney. Bruce Damrow.
Here.
Stan Hedrick. Rob Walker.
Here. Tonight we have one special exception and one appeal. The first special exception, or the only special exception, is a change of use request on Morganton Road.
I've got some handout information for this one. The mayor's office has forwarded some information that they've received from the area. And this one, I just got one copies of this. It was handed to me. I think there's some photographs in it, along with a petition signed from some neighboring property owners. And then the applicant has submitted, I just got one copy of this letter, if you guys just want to pass that down as the meeting goes. This request is for a change of use at 4234 Morganton Road. The property is identified on tax map 77 parcel 90.03 and is zoned R1. This property previously housed Tipton Roofing, and the applicant's request is for an antique automobile restoration shop. The owner of the property was also the owner of Tipton Roofing and currently has a signed lease to purchase agreement with the applicant. The request is to use the same structure that was previously used for the grandfathered business. The applicant's argument is that his business will be less impact than the previous grandfathered business. The previous business operated with 6 crews up to 6 days a week. There was heavy traffic, loading and unloading of materials, and dump truck traffic. The applicant's business will have 2 employees, himself and his son, and would have short work hours. The applicant has scheduled to have an approved paint booth installed if this request is approved. The applicant wants to make sure that his business is not confused with a collision repair shop. He is a restoration business that handles a low volume of automobiles. He plans on having no more than 10 cars per year and maybe 2 days out of the month actually spraying. The applicant is present here tonight to answer any questions and to add any statements.
Is there anyone here in favor of this special exception who'd like to speak? Is there anything you'd like to add to what Roger just told us?
No, that's pretty much it. There again, a few of the cars we've done have made national magazines and things of that nature.
Would you come to the microphone, please, so we could hear you?
A few of the automobiles that we do, 17, 18 months long. You know, eventually, every once in a while, we'll have to bump a fender for a family member or something. Just like Bo Simpson at corporate at Alcoa. This is his car and hot rod magazine we just finished. We deliver a perfect car. Just me and my son. That's it. Just water-based paints. We've got a paint booth, but if we're approved, then we can put it in. I'm ASE Master Technician, iCar Gold certified. The only Porsche certified technician in the continental United States to refinish Porsche. I'm the only one that's ever passed the Porsche exam. My work resume is Porsche, Tennessee Collision. That's it. And I've retired. I'll be just straight with my son and keep him working. And that's what we're about.
Okay. We might have some more questions from the board here in just a few minutes.
Thank you.
Anyone else in favor that'd like to speak? Or is there anyone in opposition? Could you come to the microphone, please, sir?
Yeah, I'd like to ask y'all not to zone it.
Could you tell us your name, please, sir, for the record?
I'd like to ask y'all not to zone it because it's a health hazard. There's
Sir?
too many houses too close to it.
Could you tell us your name, please? Your name?
Oh, Eldon Tullock.
Thank you.
And the man, Richard Chance, lives within 50 feet of it, and he's on oxygen the biggest part of the time. And I just don't believe any of us wants to breathe that paint. And everybody that signed the petition is asking for it not to be zoned.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else in opposition who would like to speak? Hearing none, we'll open up the floor to discussion from the board.
Does this involve establishing or creating or designing a paint spraying booth? Will you have a paint spraying booth with this?
Yes, sir.
And it meets OSHA standards?
Absolutely, up to waterborne standards.
And any of the paint or anything available, would they be stored in a location that would, like a metal locker or something?
Yeah, the paint company at Armstrong Paint Company that supplies the BASF waterborne paints would furnish an explosion-proof fire cabinet for the paints. Waterbornes are not in that area because they're environmentally friendly. Clears and thinners and stuff would be stored in a fireproof, explosion-proof cabinet, separate from the other work area.
So the chances of any hazardous material would be?
Limited to none.
Limited? Okay.
Our environmental footprint would be very minimum because we do have a hazardous waste reduction as far as if you pull my paint manifest, we don't order gallons, we order ounces because waterbornes are so much stronger where it would take a gallon to do a car, we can do it in 7 ounces. They're that strong. It's cost effective, a little expensive. Long term, it's excellent for the customer and my health, his health, and everything around.
Okay. Have you shared that information with the folks around the area?
No, but really I hadn't had a chance to speak to them.
Okay. So you've not shared that
No.
criteria with them? Okay.
No. I'm one of the first technicians to take the waterborne and the EPA standard test when the EPA Clean Air All Out Act come down. When it was mandated for a refinish technician to be certified through the EPA, I was the first one to take that test at $500 a shot. My son was in spring break that week. I put him through it at Tennessee Collision with David Maples and Tom Harper's at Harper's Porsche. So my EPA credentials are current. I keep them current as well as my ICAR Gold certifications and my ASE Master Technician certifications.
Okay. All right, thank you.
How many of those buildings are you planning on occupying? I know
Just that
there's
one.
Just the one?
Yes, sir. I'm right in the middle of purchasing the house directly in front of it.
The one right in front of Morgan
Yeah,
Road?
that purchase is in process now.
Are you planning on moving in there? or-
Absolutely.
Any other questions from the board?
With regards to the previous business in there, was it a nuisance to y'all? Okay. Did you hear me, sir?
I'm a little hard to hear in there.
Okay. With regards to the previous occupants of the building, were they a hazard or did they create a problem for y'all?
No, that was a roofing company. I would think the only hazard they'd have would be falling off the roof when they're putting it on.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
But there's no smell. They just came in, got their stuff, and went out. It was off premises.
Okay, thank you.
No other discussion, Chair will entertain a motion.
Can I ask the board, I've just got one question. What do you mean when it's waterborne?
Waterborne paints is a paint that reduces and breaks down with a deionized water at this point. that's factoring all OE cars now, waterborne, everybody's went this way. A lot of the big dealerships now went that way. When I was with Porsche, we almost ran water for 5 years prior to retiring. A little expensive, but long-term effects are excellent.
So you don't have the vapor issues to deal with?
No, no, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
One of my presumptions is no one has talked to any, you all have not talked to one another. So were you aware of that? That's okay, that's okay. Were you aware that there is probably not gonna be any hazardous, concerns based on what he has just shared with us?
Well, I painted for 9 years. Anytime you bring paint with hard red, it's a hazard to be held.
Okay.
The people that taught me how to do it, I took the doctor's advice, I quit. They're dead at a young age.
Along with your water-based paint or whatever it's called, waterborne paint,
Excuse me.
along with that, you're gonna have some clear coats, some enamels, some hardeners. You're still using chemicals,
Yeah,
right?
when you use water-based paints, you have to use conventional clear, which there mandates your proper filters. Filter 1 catches 60%, filter 2 catches 30, filter 3 catches 15. And at this point here, when she sprayed for 3 vehicles or 3 separate cars, we never spray a complete vehicle at one time behind express sprays. No tape lines, perfect bulkheads. You send these filters out to your paint manufacturer, they send them off to an independent analysis. Then they'll give you a confirmation saying, this filter caught this and hey, and it's okay to breathe on this side of this building. Then you're ready to go. Then at that point, the EPA can come in, they can put a little monitor on you, check you, walk you, and you're good to go. And we're willing and ready to take these steps. And I can't spend the money to let this happen until it's okay with your auspiration to let us go forward and teach this trade. You know, we don't use a lot of tools. I'm one of the few technicians that can take a sheet of metal off as flat as that wall and make a fender to handcraft a piece of equipment for these old hot rods. And that's what I do, and that's what I'm teaching my gun in this trade. No other employees, just me and him.
Any other questions?
Based on the conversation this evening that we've had, I move that we don't grant the special exemption.
Is there a second?
Second.
Just a second, guys. Andy Allen,
Yes.
Bruce Damrow,
Yes.
Rob Walker.
Yes.
So
Motion approved.
the motion to not approve was approved. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it okay if I tell you something? My name is Wanda Tipton, and we own Tipton Roofing. We worked at that building for years. And Mr. Tulloch said there was nothing there. Asbestos was there. My husband's proof of it, he can't breathe. He's talking about Mr. Chance. Mr. Chance lives next door, we live next door. My husband's on inhalers. Same difference. It don't bother us. And just because we own the building, that don't mean anything. I mean, you know, we'd like for them to have it, but they was plenty went on when we worked there. The dump trucks went in and out, there was pickup trucks, there was dump trailers. In fact, we kept the road pretty well tore up. Mr. Tuck kept it up a lot, we kept it up a lot. And as far as these over here, You don't never know the boys on place unless you see that white truck come in. They don't make any racket, a lot less racket than what we did. Because, I mean, when you get a bunch of roofing boys together, 6:30 in the morning, they're not no little, it's racket. 5 and 6 days a week. So, as far as health-wise, ours was more health-wise than what they're doing. Because we had loads of shingles coming out by tractor and trailer loads. We had asphalt come in there, tractor and trailer loads, put in that garage. It stayed there for 3 and 4 months. And so, my opinion is, they don't, these right here has not got near the stuff that we had. Theirs is all up to par. Ours what?
Just a different type of hazard.
We retired. We did it the old way. Ours, we retired. And, as far as the roofing, it was dangerous. I mean, not as far as falling off the roof where they're concerned, you know. They didn't see any of that. It was all business in this building. And I was there from most time from 6 o'clock in the morning, 8, 10 o'clock in the night. And it was rowdy, it was loud, traffic. And so, and it wasn't healthy. I got proof of it. It was not healthy. But we made it till we retired, so, I mean, that's just the way it was. So it's not no more, it's a lot safer now in this than it was when we was there. Because what they are doing is safe. What we is doing is not safe. But we done it that way for years. That's how we started out in '62. We never did change that much. So when we retired, why, and we still doing it that way. But now these boys, they got on the up and up through the safety situation, you know, they do it safe. But, when we quit, we took all the old shingles out, we hauled everything off. And, but these boys, they doing a good job over there, so it's.
I don't doubt what they're doing. Is a lot safer than it used to be.
Lot safer, yeah.
But,
It
there's
sure
places
is.
in the county that might be better suited than a residential neighborhood.
It's better suited from what they're doing than what we were doing, a lot safer.
Next item tonight is an appeal for a structure location on 3832 Morganton Road.
This appeal is for, this property is identified on tax map 78H, Group B, parcel 40, and is zoned R1. The appeal is from the application of the building location according to an approved site plan. The site plan was approved for this site by the Blount County Planning Commission for an expansion of an existing non-conforming use. This was approved at the December 2010 Planning Commission meeting. A permit was issued on January 14th, 2011, and it expired prior to any construction. The property was sold, and I did have a conversation with the applicant about the site plan and how the current site plan was still valid as is, but any changes would require a new site plan. A new permit was issued in December 20th, 2012. The setbacks for the residential utility building were put on the permit form, but the site plan was referenced on the permit. The applicant is appealing based on confusion that was created with the setbacks on the permit. The slab was poured in the location other than the location for the building as indicated on the site plan. The inspector notified the discrepancy, and this is the formal appeal to be able to locate the structure on the slab that was poured without having to submit a corrected site plan. Currently, there's no violation, and I did get some measurements, and it's still within the setback, so there's no problem with it being where it's at. Currently, there's no violation for the slab. Of course, it's not a structure until it's over 30 inches tall. And those setbacks that I referenced at the bottom, the 30 feet, and this one's got 2 front setbacks of 30 feet and 2 side setbacks of 20. And all those setbacks are met by the location where the slab is poured. So if the structure's built on it, it'll still be within our regulations.
Is the applicant for this appeal here and would like to speak? Is there anything you'd like to add to what Roger just told us? No. Is there anyone in opposition to this? Hearing none, we'll open up the floor for discussion from the board.
So if I understand this, they were given a permit originally?
Yeah, there was one permit issued that expired. The previous owner didn't start construction.
Okay.
This gentleman, the applicant, he acquired another permit after that one had expired. He bought it and got the permit to build the structure.
Okay.
Is there anything different from the original permit?
Just the location of the building. I didn't figure the exact footages that it's off, but it's just off. Probably 15 feet from one and approximately 5 feet or 2 feet from another. Still within the setbacks, it's just located a little further back on the property.
Okay.
Still the same building.
Any further discussion?
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
Andy Allen,
Yes.
Bruce Damrow,
Yes.
Rob Walker.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Stepped up there for nothing.
Thank you.
No variances and other business.
I've got just a confirmation of a project in progress, and this is an older, I'm sure everybody's familiar with Riverside Manor Apartments off of Wheeler Road. Originally, there was two partners, and I think the heir to one half of this is here tonight. This site plan that was submitted was drawn up well before our zoning, and it had the continuing phases. This property was split between the two partners, and they split it presumably equally based on the added build-out potential, which is reflected on this site plan. This is just to record this as a project in progress that will allow them to go. He's now wanting to, he inherited his father's part, so he's wanting to go and build a couple more of these structures at this time. Still would have to go through the permitting processes as far as all codes, but it would just be recognizing this as a project in progress.
You don't need to have a vote on it.
No, it's just basically recognizing that, having it as part of the record.
Okay.
And the next one is just a site plan revision. If you can remember back in July 2012, we approved a planned unit development with a commercial portion attached to that at the corner of Wheeler Road and Morgan Road. At that time, we approved a site plan for the commercial aspect or element of that development. Well, this new site plan that I gave you guys shows that they've made the initial building a little bigger, and they've added a detached garage onto it, storage building. Still meets all the setbacks and will still be under 4,000 total square feet. So this is just to recognize those changes to that approved site plan. If we could get a vote on that one, that would be good, just for the record, since it was approved as a special exception.
Is there a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion that we approve the revision.
Okay.
Second.
Andy Allen,
Yes.
Bruce Damrow,
Yes.
Rob Walker.
Yes.
Motion approved. And I've got one more item for business. Is next month I'll be out of town on the first Thursday. And I believe we can do the second Thursday and not interfere with any other meetings. Currently, I don't have any items on that agenda, but usually they push the deadline.
So that would be next month, right?
Yeah. Be September,
12th.
I think you're right.
Is there any
Be
conflict
September
with the agenda?
12th.
I don't have one as of now.
Andy, you okay with that?
We good? Okay.
I think so.
I think Stan will be okay. Maybe he'll be over his jet lag by
On
then.
there. Any other
That's all
business,
I've got.
Roger?
That's all I've got.
Or a motion to adjourn?
If I can get that packet.
You want these back too, Roger?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming.